Whew, what a dance. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Bargain Bin movie review. Just want to remind you to like the video and subscribe because we are making our push to 300 subs. Instead of choosing a movie at random as I usually do, I decided to hand pick one that I was eager to watch. And what is that film? It is the Paramount Plus movie, Apartment 7A. An ambitious young dancer dreams of fame and fortune in New York City. But after suffering a devastating injury, an older wealthy couple welcomes her into their home in a luxury apartment building. After an evening she can't fully remember, disturbing circumstances soon have her second-guessing the sacrifices she's willing to make for her career, as she realizes that something evil is living in apartment 7A. In this thrilling prequel to the legendary horror classic Rosemary's Baby.
Rated R.
Now I do want to say that I am not a fan of this DVD case. In fact, I walked right by it multiple times until I saw the cast listing. It's just not that interesting. I don't think it was intriguing enough to capture my attention. However, while reviewing this movie, I did find that they created an alternative movie poster that's more reminiscent of the original Rosemary Baby's poster. On the left is the poster from the original movie. The profile of Mia Farrow and the carriage silhouette is striking, plus the fun spooky green color. And this is the Apartment 7A tribute to that. I think it's way more interesting with the building, the silhouette of the dancer, and the familiar rocks. This would have definitely gotten my attention. But when I saw the names Julia Garner and Diane Wiest, I had to take a second look. Julia Garner plays Terry D'Onofrio, a dancer with dreams of stardom. She is determined to see her name in the big flashing lights and will do almost anything to get there. But she won't do that. Julia Garner has been giving some great performances recently. I really enjoyed her in Wolfman earlier this year and as the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four First Steps. Plus, her performance in Weapons was great. And this movie is no different. She plays terrified exceedingly well. But we also get to see her happy in this, which I know sounds weird, but this is the first role of hers that I actually get to see her smile and laugh. It was nice, even if it was fleeting. I got a feeling that Julia is going to have a long and successful career. Speaking of long and successful careers, Diane Wiest plays Minnie Castevet, the woman who takes Terry into her home. Ever since seeing her in the 1989 film Parenthood, seeing her name in a cast listing is an instant sell. And boy does she sell this role. Minnie has this endearing old woman New York charm accent. She sounds sweet and kind when she wants to be. Diane makes Minnie feel so authentic, like she was just plucked out of the streets of 1960s New York. Minnie's husband, Roman Castevet, is played by Kevin McNally, who you may recognize as Mr. Gibbs from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie series. Now, as I have stated, Apartment 7A is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby, which is an iconic film that I haven't seen. But I do know that it's about a woman who is pregnant with the child of the devil. But that's it. One of the main complaints I read about Apartment 7A is that the story is too similar to Rosemary's Baby. And to that I say, no duh. The prequel about the characters from the original film who are trying to complete their plan to bring Satan's child to Earth. Their goals are the same in both movies. So I'm approaching this review the same way that I approached my review of Gladiator 2 without seeing Gladiator 1. I'm going to judge it by its own merit. Maybe after watching Rosemary's Baby, I might change my opinion about it. But for now, let's get started. The movie opens on a rousing Broadway performance. We see Terry dancing and singing with the ensemble effortlessly. She looks truly happy. But tragedy strikes when she fails to land her finale jump, gruesomely snapping her ankle. You could really see the devastation on Julia Garner's face. With her dancing and stage career in the dumps, a down-on-her-luck Terry is taken in by the Castevets. They give her an apartment for free, not to mention that one of the other residents is the very famous Broadway producer, Alan Marchand. A one-night stand yields an unplanned pregnancy, and the childless Castevets couldn't be happier. And as the movie progresses, we find out why. Apartment 7A is one good-looking film. The 1960s setting is ripe with details. First, the costumes look great. Now, I'm not an expert on fashion trends of years gone by, but all of this felt very authentic to me. Terry's simple clothes contrasted very nicely with the fancy garbs of Minnie. It really shows you how they're from two different worlds. The outfits for the Broadway shows were great too. I was really enjoying myself. Second, the overall look of the film was done well too. The Branford building is an older apartment building, but it still retains some of its old world charm. Everything has a lived-in, antiquated feel. It's opulently run down. You can see the grandeur underneath of the dust. The lighting is warm and earthy, which lends to the classic horror feel too. I felt truly immersed. My only complaint with the visuals would be some lackluster CGI work. Now, there's not a lot of CGI, most of it is used for innocuous reasons. For example, there's some shots on the streets outside of the building. These shots don't look great. I assume it's because they aren't done on the actual busy streets of New York City. And this really only affects the far shots. There's also shots of the Branford that look more like a composite. The bottom floor of the building looked really fake to me, but as the camera panned up, it started to look more real. I assume that the bottom floor probably had some more modern accents that wouldn't fit with a 1960s timeline. Maybe it's leased out to a business or something. And the facade for the rest of the building is probably unchanged from the past. Now, you've probably noticed from watching my hundreds of honest movie reviews that I love a creative flair. And Apartment 7A has no shortage of them. I already mentioned the fun Broadway productions. There's also some creepy dream sequences too. I love how these dreams intertwine Terry's love of the theater and her fear of her new neighbors. It was like her nightmares were a production. I feel like this was her mind trying to rationalize what was going on. Now, there is some discourse about how the devil is portrayed in this specific sequence. And I won't lie, it did take me by surprise. I have never seen the devil portrayed like that. But again, this was her nightmare, her vision. Her mind was trying to convey what was happening in terms that she would understand, like the theater. A later vision of the devil was more traditional, albeit with some weaker CGI. But I won't spoil how either one looks for you. The main drawback of Apartment 7A is that it's a prequel to a legacy horror franchise. More specifically, it's a prequel to a movie that has a very famous plot. If you know that plot, then you can infer how this movie is going to end. About halfway through watching this, it dawned on me what would eventually happen. It does suck some of the tension and mystery from the film, but I feel like the movie does keep things interesting. Again, your mileage may vary if you've seen Rosemary's Baby first. In the end, I really did enjoy Apartment 7A. It grabbed my attention and never let go. The stark visuals and creative lens checked a lot of boxes for me. Plus the great acting performances of Julia Garner and Diane Wiest. The predictable ending, though unavoidable, was fine, but not that exciting. And it's for these reasons that I am giving my bargain bin pick Apartment 7A the encore score of 8 out of 10. Now, I might feel different after I watch Rosemary's Baby, but for now, 8 out of 10. How about you? Have you checked out Apartment 7A? It's currently available to stream on Paramount Plus, or it's available to purchase on Amazon Prime, or maybe at your local Walmart. Give me your cheers and jeers in the comments section down below. And please like and subscribe to help prevent the birth of the Antichrist. Thanks for watching and keep on dancing. Oof. See you soon.